So I said, I'll bring the CD just as backup.
Very punny.
Aww. That would have been really cool, though, if we could have had a song from Bread, right?
It was that easy.
I'll say that in the interview.
All right. So, you ready?
Yep.
Let me catch my breath. I think I'm ready.
All right.
Do you need to test our microphones? Are we good?
Yeah, you sound great.
Good.
Okay, we have this. Lights, recording.
Lights,
I think we're
camera,
good.
Action.
Action, we're
All right,
good.
nice.
All right.
All right, here.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
So she has a, uh-oh.
No, that was me.
No, the phone's ringing. Yeah, we can't.
Okay, yep, I got it.
Oh, I've never had.
That would
All
be
right,
interesting.
do not disturb and privacy.
Do not disturb.
And privacy.
And privacy both say green.
Yep, perfect.
Okay. She has a chronic cough.
We can edit.
So-
we can edit coughs.
Yes. So I told.
So if like for example, if she coughs while you're saying something, start your sentence over, and I'll just edit out the coughing portion.
Yes. Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
Yep.
Fair
And-
enough.
So same thing for you. So if you cough in the middle of talking, restart your sentence.
Okay.
And we'll fix
And that'll
it.
be
Yeah.
that'll be a
Thank you.
lot cleaner.
Yes. I will take notes of the times.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that we don't have to fish for that later.
Yeah,
It's
perfect.
funny because I actually told, this is what I usually tell my guests. We don't edit unless
unless
you
they have a
have
coughing attack.
or a sneeze attack.
Yeah.
So
well, it won't be a coughing attack, but it is always a chronic cough. They can't figure out what it is. So.
Well,
boy,
if there's a little, and then just back off.
Yeah.
If you're gonna like clear your throat or something, yeah, we'll get through it.
Perfect. You have a drink? Do you
Yes,
need some water?
we all
Anything?
have water.
Okay,
We're
perfect.
good.
All right.
Thank you. He's the best,
I can guess, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
and he's so young.
Good afternoon, and welcome to WATD's Powerful Women Revealed. You're invited to enjoy an ongoing series of uplifting, educational, and intimate discussions with local, powerful women that have all made the commitment to take their businesses and organizations to a higher level. These entrepreneurs have turned their dreams into reality. They work hard, outshine, and they mean business. These women reveal and share their inspirations, milestones, and successes with your host, Nicole Perry.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Powerful Women Revealed. I'm your host, Nicole Perry, and today we're talking about health and wellness. My guest is the Executive Director of the New England Celiac Organization, founded in 1993, I just discovered, not 91, and currently out of Dedham, Massachusetts. Lee Graham has been on the board of this nonprofit since January of 2014, but we're going to learn a little bit more about that. I'm very excited to help support their mission here on Powerful Women Revealed. Lee, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, very happy to have you here today. And really, I've learned so much about celiac disease and gluten-free and what it all means. So let's get started. You've been on the board for 2 years. What made you decide to join the board, and what were you doing previous to that?
Well, actually, I joined the board in 1997. So I have actually been in the organization for almost 20 years. So I'm on the board in 1997. In 2006, I became their president. And then we had a huge paradigm shift. And in 2014, I became the executive director.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So you've been along the ride almost the whole time.
Almost the whole time, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so what made you decide to take that executive director role?
I think partly because I had been in the organization for so long, I knew it pretty well. The other piece of that was what was going on outside in New England. Way back when I started, there were 26 celiac groups, individual, independent, all over New England. There are now only 3. They all stopped.
Okay.
And so we felt
so they didn't merge?
No, they didn't merge. They just ended.
Huh.
And so we felt there was a huge loss. There was a vacancy there that people throughout New England were not going to get support. And so we decided to change our name to the New England Celiac rather than Greater Boston, which is what we were before, and hire paid help to help run this organization in a broader way.
Okay, all right. So really, there's still a need,
Yes.
even though they sort of disseminated or dismantled. They probably just didn't have the staff and the proper. It's all nonprofits.
Right. They were small groups run usually by one person, and after 20 years, that person either retired or had had enough or whatever the situation was.
Yeah.
So it just seemed to happen all at the same time, which meant to us that we really needed to sort of fill the gap.
Yeah.
So, and I'd always been in nonprofits. My background was in group dynamics as a facilitator. So I thought, well, I've been teaching this course on groups for so long. Let's see if I can actually be a part of it.
I don't know if I've ever heard that term, group dynamics.
Yes, which is basically communication skills, listening skills, personality traits, how people work in groups. And so having been a facilitator for that,
I could learn a lot from you. So you thought it would be a perfect fit.
Yes. Yes, I thought it would. Now was the time for me to take over and use the skills that I'd taught before and actually put them into action.
Wow. And so 23 years.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been that long.
It's been a long time. Started with 6 women in a living room. And
Isn't
now,
that how everything starts?
I guess. What is it about living room and women? I don't know.
I don't know. A lot of things start that
Yeah,
way.
they do. So now it's 800 people, and when we get together, we have to be at one of the larger hotels around. So it's a big difference.
So you have 800 members.
Yep.
And but you have a lot more subscribers to the.
Our e-newsletter that goes out monthly, we have
Okay.
3,000 people who have subscribed to that.
Okay, that's a
And
lot.
that's because it provides product recalls when there's a problem, scientific breakthroughs, sort of things that happen monthly in the celiac community that they may need to know.
Okay. All right. So tell me about the actual organization, how you're always providing information and support and educating.
Right. I think what we do well that national groups can't do is we provide not only a website, which is what they do, but we also do a lot of hands-on work. We have some people who have been diagnosed in their 80s. They need a lot of hand-holding to understand the diet. And we've had people who have been ill need to work with the institution to give them a gluten-free diet, which they may not have been doing, and the family is upset, and they come to us for help. The same thing we have in schools. Celiac children go, and nobody will help them out. So those are the kind of interference runs that we do when we can.
So no one will help out the kids. Why is that? Because they just
Because it's a change.
and they don't have the education or the
Right.
or the information.
Right, right.
So it's almost like stage fright. You don't know how to help somebody if you don't know what to help them with.
Right, exactly. And it's something new, and that's always scary for people. So we also have problems within families where somebody's grandmother says, you have to keep eating my pasta, even a little bit, and they don't understand how dangerous that is.
Because it is dangerous.
It is. One of the things that's hard to visualize is how much is too much gluten if you're on a gluten-free diet, a medical gluten-free diet.
Yeah.
So there's a picture. Picture a piece of bread, wheat bread. Now break it into 7,030 pieces.
Oh my God.
Don't try that now.
Okay. Don't try this at home.
Right. And
my
one
gosh.
piece is 20 parts per million, which is what we have to stay under with celiac disease.
Oh my God.
And I don't think
that is
people understand
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think it's a fad. We'll
Right.
talk about that later.
Right.
There's a lot of myths about celiac disease and gluten and
Sure
you know,
is.
one of the myths is that it's just this fad diet.
Yes, and it is for some. I don't know whether they're trying to lose weight or they're trying to be the best athlete. There are more studies out there trying to confirm whether these do any good or not. I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
I just know that we need to be on a gluten-free diet, a strict one, 20 parts per million or less.
Yeah.
One of the things we're finding is restaurants are
that's
getting
amazing.
really confused
Oh yeah.
because we go in and we say we have to be on a gluten-free diet, and they go, sure. But the two people that came before said we have to be on a gluten-free diet. They rearranged the restaurant and the kitchen to make this work, and then the people eat a roll. And they go, so wait a minute,
Yeah.
I'm confused. So it makes it difficult.
Well, it makes it difficult, and it also puts sort of that mentality of, oh, great, when your hostess or your waiter comes to your table, they just kind of roll their eyes because who's really afflicted with this and who's not.
Exactly. It's
And
a very gray area. Yeah,
and
it
you've
makes it
got-
hard on the restaurants.
You've got a great laminated thing that you give to your members that they can bring to a restaurant, but then there's all these great cards that you can put in your wallet that
Right.
you can just hand to the waiter, and it's serious. It gives it a little bit more validity. Hey, I do have a disease. I can't ingest. And I want to talk about cross-contamination, too.
Yes.
Let's just dive into that real quick because we do have more time before we have to go to break. So cross-contamination, you can't be eating something that's the pans, the dishes that the products are created in, or not the products, the meals.
Right. Right. I mean, I have a friend who will never understand gluten-free. I love her dearly.
Yeah.
But when I go to her house and she said, I bought you gluten-free crackers to go with the cheese. And the Triscuits, which have a ton of gluten, are all over them.
Oh,
So
in the same
that's-
bowl?
Yeah, in the same bowl. And so I love her dearly, and I just say, no, thank you, but everything is
And you have
contaminated.
Yes.
So-
Oh, geez. So it's like
Yeah.
sort of like the peanut butter thing.
Exactly.
You can't have, if someone's allergic to peanut butter, you can't have a sandwich and sit next to somebody
Right.
that's eating it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to have to go to a quick break. My guest is Lee Graham. She is the executive director for New England Celiac Organization, and you can go to neceliac.org for more information on becoming a member. And you also provide lots of things if people are not ready to take on that membership, if they don't know,
Absolutely.
if they're not sure if it's right for them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which is really great because it means you're a giver and you're just being giving. Okay. So I hope you'll stay with us. I'm Nicole Perry, and you're listening to Powerful Women Revealed right here on 95.9 WATD.
Stuck on you, whoa, stuck like glue. You and me, baby, we're stuck like glue.
And we are back. You're listening to Powerful Women Revealed. And I wanted to play that song because gluten is really nothing like glue. However, it is actually responsible for that elastic texture that is found in dough, which is basically everything that's found in wheat.
Right.
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 Okay. Now, before we talk about the myths about gluten, tell me about the informal group meetings.
We have 14 of those a month in different areas in New England. So we try and have a place where people can come and get hands-on information. They can bring their problems. There's no set agenda. So you can come with whatever situations you're going through and
okay.
work that through the group.
Group support.
Yep.
You really
Yep.
need the support. And then what other resources are on the website? Because you provide lots of things on the website.
Right. We also have a list of restaurants that are what we call gluten-free friendly.
Okay.
And
all throughout New England.
all throughout New England, yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
As well as lots of recipes. And so hopefully that's a place where people can go to get information. But you can also call us, 1-888-4-CELIAC, C-E-L-I-A-C. Leave a message. One of our board members will get back to you within 24 hours.
Oh.
And so any questions you can have, and we have lots of them that come up there.
Yes, which is leading us right into some of the myths.
Right.
So there are a ton of myths about celiac disease and around gluten. Some of them are that you can be cured.
Right. Yeah, can't happen.
No, okay. And it's an allergy to wheat.
Well, I want to go back to cured.
Okay.
Because it can be controlled.
It can be
by
controlled.
diet. It
Okay.
can't be cured, but it can be controlled by
You can
diet.
live a sustainable, happy, lovely life.
And normal even.
Yes, and
Yeah.
normal even.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
On a
So
gluten-free diet.
is it an allergy to wheat?
It's not an allergy. It's a disease which is handled differently. And I don't want to go into great detail about it because it doesn't really matter. We find, actually, that when we go to a restaurant and they say, do you have an allergy to gluten?
Oh.
They understand that better than if we go into the description of, well, it's a disease and there are antibodies and they attack the gut and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
We find it's easier to say it even though it may not be accurate. But
Okay. But it's
restaurants understand that
It's
better.
easier, and you just want to,
You
get
need to get the message across.
Well, you want to get it across quickly and have your dinner, right?
Yes, exactly.
And that also that it doesn't matter if your personal products have gluten in them. I didn't know there could be gluten in personal hygiene products.
Yeah, there's a lot of wheat in shampoos, conditioners. One thing you do have to look out
It's
for
a
is
filler?
it's a filler. Wheat is cheap.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
however, shampoos and conditioners, things that are topical that don't go through your stomach and your gut should be fine. Now, having said that, there are people that have problems with it, and it may be that they have a skin allergy
Yes.
to wheat or gluten. That's something else. But you do have to watch out for toothpaste. You have to watch out for mouthwash. You have to watch out for any medications you take.
Wow.
Used to be, up until just this year, we couldn't lick an envelope
Oh.
because it has a glue which was based on wheat. Now they're all based on rice, so we can lick all the envelopes we
Well,
want.
aren't they pre-licked now?
Many of them are, but some of them aren't.
That's what my mom always says. Are those stamps pre-licked? I want them pre-licked.
I know.
Now, your skin is the largest organ.
Right.
So this is why if you do have a sensitivity to your skin, if you do use the shampoo, it could be dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty uncomfortable. There is a disease called dermatitis herpetiformis, otherwise known as DH, which is
D or T?
D as in David.
DH. Okay.
And that is derma for your skin, meaning skin.
Okay.
And that is a rash that you get, and it is cured by a gluten-free diet.
Oh.
So that is a secondary problem that can happen. It's
Or
not,
actually a positive.
well, if you find out, yeah. But it's not always, it's not that common right now. So
Okay. All right. And then some people test negative, which I find
Right.
just frightening in any testing situation that you would test negative. So you really do need to contact your physician, follow the proper steps of what to do in order to, even before you get tested.
Sure. First of all, if you're on a gluten diet and you're eating gluten, your test will probably come back fine, yes or no, and they're pretty accurate. But what's a problem is a lot of people, and this is something we're very concerned about, people will say, well, I feel so much better. I'll go on the gluten-free diet, feel great, so therefore I have to have celiac disease, and so I won't get tested. So there are a lot of people out there who are running around saying, I think I'm pretty sure I have celiac, but I haven't
Because
had
now I feel better
Right.
because I'm following a diet, but
Right.
you really need to find that out.
You do, which means you have to go back on gluten for a certain amount of time. It can be extremely uncomfortable. So those people have problems later on if, for instance, they get into an institutional setting, like they go to a hospital. They haven't been diagnosed with it. There's not a doctor's order. So we worry about those people. It is much better, eat lots of gluten, get the blood test, you'll probably find out what it is. And if you don't, there may be other conditions that are happening that you won't know about. So better to be tested.
Better to be tested. So when you do get tested, you really do have to be on a gluten diet.
Yes.
You have to have gluten in your system in order to not find out if you have gluten in your system, but to find out if you have the actual disease of celiac, which goes into much more. Oh my God, there's so much information about how it destroys the inside of your body.
Yeah, it really does. It does some damage to your gut, which prevents nutrients from getting to you.
Yes.
Some of the worst case scenarios we've heard. One woman had open heart surgery. Another person had their gallbladder removed. Another person was in psychiatric care for years. They needed to be on a gluten-free diet. They had celiac disease.
Yeah.
And that was all that was wrong. The problem is when you're not getting nutrients, your body falls apart.
Yes.
So certain things start to fall apart, and then we fix the symptom, but we're not fixing the disease.
And then you're tired and you can't exercise. I read lots of different
Right.
things like that. Now, we
Right.
haven't really asked you about your story. Do you have a story about celiac? Because you've been with the organization for, I don't know how many years, 20 years. What is your story? Do you want to share a little bit with us?
I hear lots of stories. They're wonderful stories. The story I want to tell is about a little girl. She was diagnosed with celiac disease as a baby when she first had her cereal. She was diagnosed that she would die. She had a terminal disease. Eventually, her parents found a doctor that said, I think it's celiac disease. No idea what gluten is. We'll put her on what's called a banana diet. She went on the diet. And for 3 or 4 years, she was great. And then they said, well, you've grown out of it, you're fine.
Oh, no.
Years of stomach aches, not being able to do sports because there's no stamina, not being able to concentrate at school in studies, being exhausted growing up, having raised 3 kids, sometimes going to bed for the whole day. And it wasn't until she was later in life that they finally diagnosed her with celiac. Even though none of the doctors collected the dots, they never said, "Oh, you had celiac as a child. Well, then you still have it."
Yeah.
No one connected it. The education, the knowledge wasn't there. So that child was me.
Yeah.
That was me, and I feel badly for what that child went through. And I
Yeah.
don't want people to wait 40 years to be diagnosed.
Now,
That's
is
my
it-
passion for
Is it
this group.
hereditary?
It does have a link. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you know if your children have
I've
celiac?
tested everybody.
You're a testing fiend, I'm
Yes,
sure.
I'm sure. Yeah, panic. No, nobody yet has it, but we have other autoimmune diseases which tend to run in families with celiac disease. So we have type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Which I'm sure they don't go hand in hand, but I'm sure there's things that you learn from each of the diseases that helps the other or
They
information.
connect.
They
They
do.
connect. 10% of people with celiac have type 1.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yes, they do connect.
Okay, so if you have type 1 diabetes and you're listening, you might want to get tested for celiac disease.
You might.
Okay.
Yeah, not
All
a bad
right.
idea.
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break. My guest is Lee Graham. She is the executive director at the New England Celiac Organization. You can go to neceliac.org for more information. I'm your host, Nicole Perry. You're listening to Powerful Women Revealed right here on 95.9 WATD. welcome back to Powerful Women Revealed. I'm your host, Nicole Perry. My guest is Lee Graham, and she's the executive director at the New England Celiac Organization. And I have so much fun, I want to say, choosing the songs for the show. When I was choosing this one, I was singing it, and I was explaining to my daughter that I know the words because the song is so old. But she's looking at me like, who are you singing about? You know, and I'm like, no, it's about celiac. It's
You
about
outdid yourself, Nicole. You really did. It was awesome.
It's about, you know, I will survive this disease. That was what it was about. She didn't get the connection until I explained it. But it can be terrifying. And you were diagnosed at a very young age and then re-diagnosed.
Yep.
What are the statistics for the ages of people that do end up finding out?
Well, first of all, as much as you might think it's terrifying, I've always thought it was a huge celebration to be finally diagnosed. There was a name now for what I had been dealing with. Yes, there's an answer. I can put my finger on it now. So when you think that the average diagnosis time from the first symptoms to final diagnosis is 7 to 11 years. That's inexcusable, but there it is.
Wow.
So now
wait a minute, say this again.
So average time from symptom to diagnosis is 7 to 11 years.
Wow.
Part of that is education. The doctors aren't looking for it like they should. It is much more common than they ever were taught at medical school. Also, the symptoms are so broad. The damage to the gut happens, but you can have so many other problems: headaches, infertility, aches and pains, feeling like you're in a glue bottle with your brain, all sorts of things that are happening, diarrhea, bloating, gain weight, lose weight. So it's very hard for doctors, unless they're really looking for it, to find it.
Yeah, and how damaged are your organs getting if you're not even finding out until 7 to 11 years?
Exactly.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Can you ever get your gut back to normal, true normal? We'll probably never know.
Yeah.
But average ages now in children to be diagnosed is 7, around 7 years old, and for adults it's in their 40s, which is very different.
Wow.
Many people just don't expect that they would be diagnosed. And you find it in...
And some people, you said earlier, in their 80s.
Yes, yes, we have 60s, 70s, and 80s now being diagnosed. So I think the later you are diagnosed, the harder it can be, because you're really set in your ways.
Well,
and it's a whole new
It's hard for a dog to change their tricks, right? What's that saying?
Something like old dogs,
Old dogs, can't learn new tricks or something.
know.
Well, now, there's a lot of information on the web.
Yes.
And, you know, as I was Googling and researching and cyber stalking and all of that to find out information so that I could interview you, I did get most of the information from your website. But there are other things there on the web that might or might not be incorrect. I mean, I know we have to be careful.
Well, that has us concerned. There are things out on the web, and many people feel, I'll go on the website, I'll get my information. The problem is a lot of it is inaccurate. So,
well, Wikipedia.
Yeah.
My kids say you can't rely on Wikipedia now. I'm like, for God's sakes, you know. The information about a pickle is going to be correct on Wikipedia. I mean, you know. But maybe information on, the new football game and the air in the football, I don't know. Maybe that won't be right.
Yeah, don't go there.
Yeah. But
anyway,
really, so you have to be careful.
It is a concern of ours. And so because we're connected with the Celiac Center at Beth Israel Deaconess and the Celiac Center at Mass General and the Celiac Research at Harvard Medical School, our information...
And Beth Israel.
Beth Israel Deaconess, So our information is absolutely accurate. It is up to date. We can contact those doctors anytime we need to help our members out.
Okay.
So we have that wonderful possibility that many other groups don't have.
Okay.
And we're now the only group in New England that is there for you. But that's it.
So what do you think is your biggest strength? The relationships that you have with the hospitals?
I think that provides us with the backbone to be able to give and inseminate that information out to people in a way that is correct. But I also think there's an energy with this group. Many times you think of a support group as sitting in a circle with knitted eyebrows singing Kumbaya. It's my worst thought. I have never felt that with this group. This group has energy. As I said before, we think of this as a celebration. This is moving on. This is a new beginning, and we're excited about it. And we want to share that with other people who are newly diagnosed. So that kind of energy, we have 40 volunteers that are willing to step up and do anything. We have 20 people on our advisory board. Energy is sort of the word that I think of when I think of this group.
I love energy.
Yeah.
And you've been around for a long time. It's 23-ish years. You've been with them for 20. It's a very professional organization. You guys have crossed all your T's and dotted all your I's. You've got an online e-magazine. You've got a regular handheld magazine that you put out how many times a year?
3 times a year.
3 times. And this is a really professional, you're getting all of the best, creme de la creme of all the information that you can get.
Right, and that's what we're seeing even across the United States, that a lot of the groups are no longer doing that. They have a website, you can get information
But
from
that's
there,
it.
and that's it.
Nothing to sit and read.
Nothing to read, nothing to get on an email. At least with us, you can call us, we'll get back to you. You can email us, we'll call you back, we'll email you back. Whatever you need, we're there to take care of you. Plus the 14 meetings a month.
14 meetings a month.
In different towns.
Especially if you have relatives because a lot of New England, you're spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
You can visit a relative and then go to a meeting.
Absolutely.
So it's all
Yeah.
inclusive.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
it is.
And, what do people not know about your organization? I mean, we're sharing all this information. Welcome back. You're listening to Powerful Women Revealed. I'm your host, Nicole Perry, and my guest is Lee Graham, and she's with the New England Celiac Organization, and I love that song. So I want to reread some of these words that she's using. She's kind of a powerful lady, Madonna. If you wait too long, it'll be too late. No time to lose. Get up. It's time. Your world, your life, your choice. You don't have the luxury of time. It's time for you to read the signs. So you really have to look for the signs.
Yes,
Pay
good words.
attention. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to some of those signs. If you have type 1 diabetes, and what are some of the other signs?
Well, I think there are some of the signs. There are lots of symptoms that you can have. That's what makes it hard to diagnose. But we like to say that we are a support group where gas and bloating is socially acceptable to discuss in our meetings.
I love that.
But we do have people in families that even though a sister is diagnosed with celiac disease, the brother may not want to be diagnosed, and it's very evident that he has it. Because he goes, well, it's a nuisance to learn the diet, so I'm not going to get diagnosed. And those are hurtful. Those are really tough things because there are certain cancers that come with being chronically undiagnosed, and also earlier death.
Yeah.
So it isn't something to mess around with.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
You don't have the luxury of time. You only live once.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay, now, what do you want to talk about as far as your nonprofit organization? What is the most challenging aspect of being a nonprofit?
Well, I think one that I talked about a little bit before was getting the word out about us, what we do and who we are, and also just raising funds to support programs. We have programs that we would love to do more with alerting doctors about looking for celiac and diagnosing it, and educating RDs, registered dietitians. We have a lot of times where we'll hear, oh, a registered dietitian told me I could have gluten once a week. Or I can have a birthday cake on my birthday that's gluten. that's wrong.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Well, it's
and that
risky.
Yeah, it is.
And
you're hurting yourself.
You're gambling.
Right.
Right? To maybe not have an effect or maybe not have anything happen.
Right. We want the education to get out there in such a way that the professionals are now speaking with one voice.
Now, you're gaining a lot of information from the professionals at the hospitals.
Yes.
What is it happening in reverse? What are you sharing with them about the actual members? Is there sort of a vice versa kind of happening?
Yes, we do. A lot of their research, our members are part of that. So they'll reach out to us and say, this is a new research we're doing. Do you think many of your members might be interested? And quite a few of them are.
Oh, okay. And then so they'll do some testing.
Yes.
And then the doctors are now learning more information.
They are.
Okay.
They are.
That's
and
really
some
cool.
of these doctors are world-renowned, and particularly Alessio Fasano at Mass General. And he's the kind of guy that if people have real difficult problems with their diet, it's not working, there are other issues, it becomes a really serious piece for them.
Yes.
He's the guy we can recommend that they go to.
Wow. And what about insurance? We haven't even talked about that.
Oh, don't get me started.
Is anything covered, or are you really? It's all different. Everybody's got a different policy.
It's not covered to buy the food, which it is in Italy. You get
Really?
money each month to buy your food in Italy, and you go to the drugstore. We don't have that here. Certainly you can go to your doctor, but a lot of times your registered dietitian visits are not covered by insurance, which is why I think we're so valuable. We don't cost a lot of money.
Yes, and one of the other myths is that it's expensive to purchase gluten-free food.
Right.
And it can be, but once you start getting good at it, just like anything else,
Yeah.
you really start finding all of the yummy foods and the things that are good
Right.
and discounts and all that kind of stuff.
There's some mental thing that happens when you first get diagnosed. You buy anything that says gluten-free on it, whether you've ever eaten that food before or not.
Really?
And you cram your refrigerator and your freezer with all this stuff. And you go, why did I buy all this?
Oh.
And later you realize, I don't think I need to eat those. But it's a slow learning that we
Yeah.
all go through. And now, yes, it is more expensive if you buy processed food. At the same time, eating good food is more expensive than eating the high caloric ones that you
That's right.
find in the middle of the aisle.
But
of your,
a baked potato is not expensive.
correct.
So there are simple, old-fashioned, good old, things that you can
Yes.
actually eat.
Fresh food is wonderful and usually gluten-free.
And now what about rice?
Rice is gluten-free.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
potatoes and rice, just ditch the pasta. And they
Exactly.
have really great gluten-free pasta.
Oh, there's some wonderful pasta, particularly from
And
Italy.
if you just cook it a little bit longer, is that the trick?
The
I think I did.
trick-
I tried that once. I don't have any gluten sensitivities, but I was one of those people that was trying a fad.
It's a process, Nicole. What it is the time that it's ready, pasta, is infinitesimal. If you cook it too long, it becomes a lump in the bottom of your pan. If you cook it too short, it's still tough.
Yeah.
So
well, you
it
like
has-
al dente because it's better for your body to eat
Right.
something that's al dente.
Right.
But for the
for gluten-free, the time that it happens to go too long is quick. So you have to be on top of it.
you really so
Yeah.
what? It's 8 minutes of your life standing over the
Yeah,
stove. It's not a
exactly.
big deal, right?
Exactly. And it's good.
Okay, now, what if you wait too long to be tested? We've talked about this,
Yep.
but really, we kind of, you don't want to wait.
No, you don't. And I think, again, they've done studies where there are more cancers that are involved with people who are not diagnosed and not following the diet.
Yeah.
And also death. Death comes more suddenly and earlier for people who are not on the diet, who are celiac disease.
What would you want to change in the mindset of somebody that just is, I don't know, contemplating, not sure, skeptical?
I think what they don't realize many times is how wonderful you will feel after you're on the diet. That the other person when you're not on that diet is someone who's always tired, who never quite has the same energy. And once you get on the diet, it's like, wow, I'm this whole new person. And that is really exciting.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
a
wish
celebration.
people, and I wish people could see that ahead of time.
Now, again, what hospitals are you affiliated with?
With the Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital and the Mass General Hospital
Okay.
and the Celiac Center at the Harvard Medical School.
At the Harvard Medical School, which I did read. Now, there are some great books out there. We only have about a minute left.
Yes.
What are some books that you want to recommend for people, as well as going to the website, neceliac.org? What are the books? Because I wrote some books down, and they weren't so good. So what are yours?
Well, some of the ones that I think are really great are a new one out by Dr. Alessio Fasano called Gluten Freedom. He explains what goes on in much better English than I can. The other is Real Life with Celiac Disease by Melissa Dennis, who's a registered dietitian, and Dr. Dan Leffler.
Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful, comprehensive look at celiac disease and how to handle it.
Okay.
Any books by Betty Hagman on recipes. She is terrific. Any books by Annalise Roberts. She does baking, and she does a great job with it.
Okay.
Really
Excellent.
does.
Well, thank you so much. I think we're out of time today. I want to really thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
I hope we've done some educating here today.
I hope so, too.
And some enlightening. And again, you can go to you want to go to neceliac.org for more information. My guest is Lee Graham. She's the executive director. They've been around for 23 years. So they are very established.
You bet.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole.
I want to thank you for listening. We are out of time today. I hope you will tune in next Sunday after the news at noon. Until then, I'm your host, Nicole Perry. Have a great week, and remember, knowledge is power.